Welcome. I am Andrea, and this is the series called Traveling in Time. And I just wanted to share a little bit with you before we dive into the uncoverings for today. So, traveling in time is something that has come in through Source super clearly. And as we move through these episodes, these sharings, however we want to call them, we will dive in a little bit more each time on why it's called Traveling in Time, right? So everything is basically building the foundation and allowing us to really connect as a group, right? As a whole, for whatever souls are guided to tune into this series, right? So first I wanted to say there's just so much gratitude within my heart for myself for showing up here and listening and answering the call. And then so much gratitude for whoever is on the other end connecting as well. And as I open my heart and share in the purest way that I know how in this very moment, I know it to be true that it is the same for you. So I am just very blessed and very thankful. So today, what are we talking about today? So today is all about what does it mean to be comfortable, right? So take a few moments right now and just tune in. Just ask yourself, what does it mean for you to be comfortable? Because what has been shown very clearly is there are many perspectives of this, right? And oftentimes when we are in the same routine day to day, there could be some comfort in that, right? There could be some familiarity in that routine that's day to day that maybe you've been doing for quite some time, right? So what does comfortable mean to you? In my perspective, through my lens, right, I realized that there was a certain comfortability when we decided to move across the country, and especially when arriving here and really tuning into this new and beautiful environment and just energy that is on the West Coast, right? And then I realized that there was one version of me that was comfortable in Florida, doing the same thing day in, day out, feeling like I had to be this person, these characteristics for other people. Yet I realized that I was the one that put that on myself. Through other episodes, we will also connect with that as well. So with that thought process. So then moving out here, right? So whether we are, shifting maybe a job or even a home location, in the same area, but maybe just like a couple miles away from each other. There's so many different levels of change, different levels of shape shifting, right? So when we are in that space, we are presented so many new experiences, situations, interactions with other people. And it's a really beautiful way of allowing ourselves to grow even more, right? So in this space, we are able to maybe move a new way, like literally move a new way, right? Maybe speak a new way, see a new way, hear a new way. And that allows us to shapeshift maybe our current perspective. Maybe it only strengthens and deepens how we had currently felt. And it's a really beautiful confirmation, right? So many different aspects of that. And are we able to be comfortable regardless of where we are at? Are we able to be comfortable in our own skin, in this skin, right? This human body, this human form, regardless of where we are at. So the way that we interact and live our lives may be at home, like literally, like physically in our own home, right? However goofy and silly, or maybe sometimes serious, there's so many different roles that we are able to express, right? The way that we interact within the home, are we able to literally step out this front door, out into this world, out into society and the community, and be who we are, and be the same version of us, the same truth, right? Still the different roles, but the same truth, regardless of where we are at. Are we able to do that? So a few beautiful examples that are coming through at this moment are, maybe if you're walking down the road and you see like this beautiful scene that you want to take a picture of, right? So we stop and we take a picture. And as we're doing that, someone walks by and they're looking at us, right? Just observing and seeing what we're doing. How do we feel about that? Are we still comfortable with taking a pause and taking in this beautiful environment? Even though another soul, another reflection of us, another version of us is observing us, who may also be perceived as a stranger? Are we able to be totally just in our own skin and comfortable at a coffee shop? Maybe doing whatever work or play that we have in front of us, and maybe we're listening to music, and this music really makes us feel within every cell of our being, right? And then maybe we decide to move and dance in that coffee shop, in your chair, in front of perceived strangers, right? Would we be comfortable doing that? And even taking that a little bit to like another level, if we are comfortable, would we just kind of like bop side to side, or would we like full out, start jamming to whatever it is? How comfortable are we, right? And in this space, right, as we tune into this and as we shift our perspectives, right, shift our environments, our interactions into something new, something fun, something new. Within that, right? So that's why moving is a really great example. And moving can mean many things, right? The home, a job, shape-shifting friends. And within that space, it really allows us to get super, super clear on what our individual residence is, right? Because knowing what your vibration in itself, what that feels like, is key, right? And there may be previous ways, previous patterns where we are around so many people, right? Doing so many things, going from place to place and thing to thing. And then every time we are doing that, we are interacting with another resonance, right? Another person's aura, another person's vibration, another person's frequency, right? And within that, your frequency and vibration and theirs, they're connecting. So you are literally sharing your truth, who you are, with this other soul, with this other person. And that is why it is so key to know and feel and know what it feels like, what your vibration, what that feels like, right? Because then once you know that, it is very easy to pick up on whenever there is a shift within your vibration, right? Because you're so super clear on what you feel like energetically, and especially in this human form, right? And that only allows us to fine tune and really dive in deeper what it means to have these beautiful forms of expression with another person, with another soul. So just take a few moments now, and what does that mean for you? have you had the opportunity to be in a space to explore what just your frequency feels like? I had that beautiful opportunity that I created for myself this year. And up until that point, I wasn't that clear on what my vibration felt like, what my resonance felt like. And for anyone who may be unfamiliar with what resonance is simply our frequency and our vibe, right? It's literally this energy that we are emitting from this physical form, what we are emitting out into the universe, right? And this energy that we send out. So a really great tool that we have as human beings is our emotions, right? Being able to connect with emotions. So those emotions that we're feeling, whether they are happening on a subconscious level or a unconscious, which I am now will be connecting with that, calling that a superconscious, or the conscious mind, right? So whatever level those emotions are in, that is what we are emitting from our energy field. And that is what we are sending out. And it gets sent out everywhere, right? And so whether we're conscious that we're doing this or not, it's happening. So that's why being conscious of it is key. And then dialing in and tuning into this frequency and mastering it, because that is possible. I promise you it's possible. It's how we create our worlds consciously. So we send this energy out, and if you're visual, you literally can imagine, put your imagination cap on and literally imagine these waves, however we're feeling in this present moment, imagine these waves being sent out into the universe, right? And as that happens, then it's the law of attraction. So the law of resonance is first. It's key. It's a foundation for everything. And then the law of attraction happens. So this energy, this vibration that we sent out, goes out into the world, goes out into the universe, connects, like attracts like, right? So the law of attraction connects with something that is of a very, very similar frequency of vibration. And as that connects, it literally is drawn into your world and shows up in front of you, right? That's how, this cup of tea, on some level, my resonance field has put out there that I wanted this cup of tea this morning, right? Well, and now I'm going to share what this says because I'm being told to. So, and as that happens, the law of attraction, right? And that's how this is in front of me right now. So, this tea says, be kind, conscious, and compassionate. The whole world will be your friend. So, soak that in just for a moment while I sip my tea that I manifested. So the whole world is our friend, right? Because we've attracted all of it. We've created all of it through this field, right? And how do we create? How do we create this resonance, this frequency, this vibration that gets sent out, right? There has been a lot of focus maybe up until this point on the mind, right? And this mind is such a beautiful tool. It is such a beautiful tool that we have, right? Yet we can choose to focus on what this can or cannot do, right? We have the option, right? Free will. Yet, how do we create in this resonance field? It all comes from the heart. All of it. Your heart is 5,000 times stronger than your brain, than your mind. So what you deep down believe, those core beliefs, right? that radiates out into every single cell of your being. That gets sent up to your mind, your brain. And then that is how we, think and use this tool. So this is such a beautiful awareness that we have, that it's the heart that's doing everything. That this is our generator. I think if anyone follows Seven Bomar, I'm pretty sure that he calls the heart the generator. And I can confirm that. Because this powers everything, right? Okay, so I wanted to touch on that for a second. Getting back on track on what it means to be comfortable. So there's many perspectives on how we can see this, right? When I first moved out to the West Coast, being comfortable to me was showing me that I may have been dependent on people, places, and things from where I was living at currently, right? Because I chose to put myself in those specific situations to learn from. So that's one version of being comfortable, right? And the other thing is, regardless of where we are at in this very present moment, it is exactly where we are supposed to be. We have set all of this up for ourselves. We have purposely put ourselves right here to learn, to grow, right? And honoring that. And just honoring that, right? Okay. All right, so the comfort zone. What is that, right? First, I want to know who made that up, which on some level, right, but everything is a reflection of me. Everything is a reflection of you, right? So we made up the comfort zone, which is really interesting, right? So at first, a perspective that I had was, if you're, familiar with the, I don't know if analogy is the right word, but description of how we have this comfort zone, which is this little box, right? And in the middle, there's a dot in the middle of the box, and that's us. And as soon as we get close to the lines, those outer edges of the box, the mind, the brain, and everything wants to just freak out, right? Because we're getting to the edge of our comfort zone. And that is how at one point in time I lived my life, which is amazing because I learned so much from that. And now I realize the comfort zone is something that we made up with the mind, which is totally cool. It doesn't have to be there though. We can choose to hold on to these concepts, to label and define them, right? And if that is the current lessons that we're moving through, then amazing, right? There's something else to learn in there to shapeshift from. Whenever we are ready, we can totally release and let go this concept of a comfort zone because it literally does not exist. When we are in our heart, there's no such thing as a comfort zone, right? There's no such thing as that box. We're not in that box. We're not outside of the box. There's no box. It's this open space that we are able to move and play and be fluid and free however we so choose, right? And within that space, that's where we create. So something just to ask yourself is, do you identify with a comfort zone? And if you do in this moment, then awesome, right? It's the awareness that's key. If you do identify with it, ask yourself why. Is it something that you truly deep down believe and know to be true in your heart? Or maybe is it something that you feel that you ought to believe? Something that you were taught by whoever, which was still another version of you. And just to add in this moment, I'm hearing, with this resonance field, right? And this will be another connection at some point within this series on what it means to be a reflection and a mirror within each other, right? But that's what the resonance field is. That's what the law of resonance teaches, is that everything is a mirror and a reflection of you because you've created it, because you've sent it out, right? Say you're going to a coffee shop and you're in line and this person in front of you decides to turn around and have a conversation with you, right? You've literally set that vibration out at one point in time and matched up in the universe and brought forth this divine reflection, this beautiful person in front of you to have whatever, exchange of communication. So if for whatever reason the concept of, or the knowing of, everything is a reflection of you and a mirror of you, if that might feel a little foreign right now, that's totally cool too. It's all good. We're all honoring exactly where we are at, right? So, returning to the comfort zone. What do you know to be true in this current moment, in this present moment? What rings true for you? And whatever it is, whatever comes to you, it's perfect. And it's honoring it, right? And we have the option. This is the beautiful thing about the resonance field too. We have the option in any given moment to shape-shift, change, evolve, grow, whatever word resonates with you, to change our world. If it's something that you don't necessarily care for, or if it's an energy that, or an emotion that you've been feeling that you are just like, you're over feeling it, you've gotten to this point where you know that there is a space that you can upgrade in that, right? If there's an emotion that you're feeling, so right now sadness is coming through, so maybe someone connecting with this as well, with this video, might be moving through this, and on some level I have attracted this, right? It's still within my resonance field, right? The fact that that's even being shown to me right now. So if we have this emotion of sadness, it's okay. Why are we sad? What's going on? Do we want to be sad? Right? And whenever we decide that we choose our happiness first, in every single moment, we can shift out of that sadness. We don't have to stay, right? Just like the comfort zone. So, being vulnerable is liberating, right? Like I literally see vulnerable, the equal sign in liberating. Because when we are vulnerable, we are in our hearts, right? And when we are in our hearts, we tap into this resonance field and we are mastering it, right? And many of you have probably heard me say this before, but I think of either like a radio, something that has knobs, right? And depending on what you want to create in your world, it's like we are turning that knob to get to the frequency, right? Maybe it's a little staticky right now, and that's okay. We're doing the play. Maybe some people like to call it work. We're doing the work. And we're fine-tuning, and we're picking the frequency that we want. And as we fine-tune that, as we turn this knob, and we're getting closer and closer, there's less static. And then we get to the space that it's so crystal clear, right? And then we realize that that was literally easy as picking up this cup of tea. To change this knob, to turn this knob to whatever we want to create, right? And within that is freedom. So that's another thing right now, is just feel through that. Like, what is freedom to you, right? An example, silly example that's coming to me right now that I've been sharing with some people in my life, and for anyone who knows me, especially before I moved out here, I don't always really like to wear shoes. That to me is freedom, the option of wearing shoes or not. And also, by the way, everything is an option, right? We have choices in everything. And so I was tuning in at whatever point. I was walking, obviously outside somewhere, and it came to me that every time I maybe like stepped on a rock or a pebble or a twig besides the ground, right? Like, of course we're stepping on the ground, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, the ground is somewhat flat, and you know, if there's things that we are literally stepping on, depending on where maybe that rock connected, perfect, right? This is why this is happening. This is the ground, this is a rock, right? And depending on where my foot literally sits on top of this rock as I'm stepping, wherever this is connecting with on my foot, when we think about foot reflexology, right? It was obviously meant to happen. It was stimulating that aspect of my foot. So now imagine every single time you're taking a step outside, you're connecting with the earth, you're grounding. There are studies that basically show when we ground and we connect with the earth, and we put our feet in the earth and even our hands and any other aspect of our physical form, right? It heals the cells, right? I could go more into that. I feel like that would be getting on a tangent at the moment. Yet it literally helps to give the body oxygen and helps us to heal our cells. So whenever you have anything going on, if it's an emotion, if it's something spiritual, emotional, mental, or physical, right? You literally can go and sit in the earth or go sit by the beach. That's why nature is so powerful. So anyways, the other thing that was channeling through is, you know, do you feel comfortable in your own skin, right? Do we? I hope we do. And when we feel comfortable in our own skin, this human skin, right, it allows us to fully connect with our truth, right? Because in this lifetime, we chose to go through it with this physical form, right? Our souls are eternal. This is probably not the first time we have lived a life, right? As many of you are well aware of, you know, past lives, future lives, parallel lives, right? We are energy, and energy is not created or destroyed, right? So this, for my soul, at least what I know to be true for me, this is not my first lifetime, right? Yet I have chosen to come and experience all of this through this. So of course, yeah, I want to be totally in tuned and connected with every single cell of this being. So then you can notice, right, from moving here until now, the word maybe comfortable has shifted and changed perspectives a few times, right? And every single moment, regardless of where I was at throughout the whole spectrum, and as I continue to grow, maybe after this video, the word comfortable isn't even in my vocabulary anymore, right? We're always evolving and growing, right? So it's just honoring exactly where we're at. So let's see what else. So when we are comfortable in our own skin and owning our truth, it allows us to be spontaneous and adventurous, right? Moving moment to moment, trusting the process, being fluid, and having that freedom. Once we are totally aligned with all of this, it's freedom, right? This has been coming through the last couple of months on being comfortable. So as I was getting ready to tune in for this series, and well, especially like this video for traveling in time, right? I just connected with Source and was asking for any specific points to touch on. So I'm just taking a look at my notes to make sure that I connect with everything. All right, what else? It's as easy as a snap of a finger, and I've said this before, right? To shapeshift anything in our reality. Yet staying in line with this topic of what it means to be comfortable. Are we comfortable in our own skin? Can we be totally comfortable with every single role and aspect of ourselves, of our truth when we walk out that front door, right? And knowing that our perspectives can shapeshift and change by the snap of a finger, right? We can change our world by the snap of a finger as we master and tune into this resonance field. To where whatever we are manifesting in our life, we literally can actualize it in the now. To a snap of a finger, right? We know it to be true in our heart. It sends it to every cell of our being. It connects with the mind. Then the mind, so this is already sent out into the resonance field, right? And then the mind is like, ooh, I would like to create this reality. I would like to bring this to fruition. Boom. And for some of you, we're going to go ahead and clear and release all of that. I know that whoever is connecting at the other end of this, like, they know that to be true. You all know that we create our worlds by the snap of a finger. It is that easy. I promise you, right? It's believing it to be true first. And if on a subconscious layer, if for some reason there might be a little, like, we call them energy kinks, right? If on a subconscious layer, there might be an energy kink within that, we literally in this moment, because we are super conscious beings, when we know it to be true in our heart, literally just say, clear and release all of that. If you feel like snapping your finger, do that too, right? And send it off. Send it off to the sun to be transmuted, because the sun is a really powerful and beautiful energy, right? Transmute that. The words that are coming to me right now are transmute that shit. Still being neutral, right? But we can transmute that. And then in this moment, so we literally sent that energy out, right? We released it, we cleared it, we let it go, we surrendered. Now energy is not created or destroyed, right? So this perceived open space that we now have, what do you want to fill in that? Whatever is on that subconscious layer that we just released, what do you want to fill in that space? And it's as easy as saying joy, gratitude, and love. To literally play and be those vibrations. It's easy. I promise you it's easy. And as maybe previously up until this point, right, the way we may have labeled and defined things, returning to the comfort zone, right? Why would we ever want to limit ourselves? Why would we ever want to put ourselves in that box? And for anyone who may still be connecting with that concept of the comfort zone, and on some level we all are, right? For anyone who's tuning into this, and me as well. It's as easy as a snap of a finger to release it, right? And just why would you want to limit yourself? Because when we tune into that, it almost contradicts freedom, right? Limiting ourselves versus freedom. All right, so I feel like that is everything for this episode of Traveling in Time. And I have a feeling that we're going to start calling it TNT. Oh gosh. This life is hilarious, right? All right, so I pray and know it to be true that you feel the overflowing love from my heart and the gratitude from me to you for allowing me to show up in this space, right? Communicate and express my truth and how Source has decided to flow through me, and also how we all embody Source, right? So allowing me to really step into this space, honoring you for exactly where you are at, knowing that it's absolutely perfect, and I'm so grateful for it, and grateful that we are all able to connect and learn together, because it's such a beautiful experience. It's a really beautiful experience that we have all created for ourselves, right? So may you feel the love that I truly do have for each one of you, right? And I say that, and I know it to be true, because every single soul at the other end of this is another version of me, is another version of Source. So of course, I have so much love and gratitude and joy, right? All right, until next time.